Welcome back to the RUNcensored podcast, and this is the second part of the conversation with Paul.
But yeah, Everest Base Camp was, I'm glad I did it, but I wouldn't do it again.
No.
There was so much waiting around, and I
Yeah.
don't do well with boredom. I don't do well with waiting and sitting and doing nothing. That's not my thing.
Do you need that structure in your life as well? Because I know you're a busy guy,
I
aren't
like
you?
chaos
Do you?
within
Yeah.
structure.
Structured
I like
chaos.
structure. I love
Organised
chaos.
chaos.
Organised
Organised
chaos.
chaos.
Like, I love being busy. I love
But
doing
stuff
things.
like that, your timetable is reliant on everyone else, not yourself.
I'm waiting around for people. And some days when you're acclimatizing, I mean, the people it would have been worse if I didn't know the people I was with. Like, 3 of the guys came, 3 of the Alliance guys, and we had good crack on that. But even then, 8 days in, you're like, fucking hell, man. So you'll go up sometimes, you'll do an hour hike up, and then you'll come back down and wait all day until the next day. It's fucking freezing. The facilities are shit, obviously. There's no electricity, no fucking internet connection. What the fuck do you do?
It's like Sam Shields.
Without the seagulls, without the fucking zombie seagulls. So
That's us never getting. That's us never getting an invite back, isn't it?
Gary's most devastated because we called it Asda on the way here, and they didn't sell San Pellegrino. So that was
I love Sam
It was a bit of a blow for you,
Pellegrino.
wasn't it,
I couldn't
mate?
find
Yeah.
it.
Well, we don't even have the Marks and Spencers now.
Oh, really?
No
Yeah.
Marks and Spencers, gone. Gone. No M&S food. North Shields have it, but South Shields don't.
Shocker.
So the waiting around was terrible. And all I was thinking about when I was waiting around is I want to go home. Not that it was too hard. Not that it was too difficult. I'm like, I'm
Too
missing my
isolated.
kids now.
Yeah.
I want to see my kids, which is quite in that because I take them everywhere. Like people love it. Like they'll go to an event and I'll speak at an event. They're like, "Hey, your kids, why you brought your kids?" I'm like, "Because I like hanging out with them.
Yeah.
I like them being part of what I'm doing. They love coming. They love being around it." And then on day, I think it was day 9 or 10, I got a sickness bug. What's the common sickness bug called?
Just flew, just like a...
Like a sick. I ate bison that wasn't cooked properly. E. coli.
Oh, yeah.
Got E. coli. And then I said to the guide, I said, on the day I get to base camp, how can I get back faster? He's like, "Well, get your chop." I said, "How much is that?" He told me how much it was. I was like, "I'm in." Because I just thought about it. I was like, I'm not going home and telling my kids that I haven't done it because I missed them. Like, I'm never nice. I think it's fucking pathetic, really. I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
But then I was like, it's either that, I go home. I got to base camp, I was there 20 minutes because all it is a bunch of tents.
Yeah. And a rubbish dump.
Aye, it is. Got there, I was like, this is cool. And then we literally had to sprint back to the place we started from that morning to get the chopper in time so I could get home before it was dark. But the option was, and again, people say I bottled it. I'm like, I didn't. I was walking back the way that I came.
You'd already done it, hadn't
It's
you?
like doing a marathon and walking home.
Yeah.
I'd done it. I'd seen what I wanted to see. I got to base camp, and then obviously my kids were like, they were so confused.
It's not like you got the helicopter to base camp, is it? You made your way there.
I wouldn't
so,
do it
yeah.
again.
No.
I wouldn't do it again. Would I recommend it to people? Possibly. It depends what you want to get.
That's box ticked, isn't it?
I box take. I did it. I learned how to make reels when I was there. Did learn how to make reels on, I can't remember what it's called. I haven't used it since. Video Leap.
Yeah.
Video
Well, you
Leap.
were
I did the
doing
reels on.
reels for a bit, weren't
Mate,
you?
they're my most popular reels
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Why can't you do more of them?" Because I had to do them. That's why
Yeah.
I do them.
There's a great documentary called Trouble on Everest, and that put me off ever wanting to go. It just looked at all of the issues that are created by the tourism that is the draw to
It's
Everest.
become too commercialised
Well, we had
now,
to
hasn't
buy
it?
stuff. You have to take all the rubbish with you in your bag and take it back. And I would never do the proper Everest. Oh, you're not going to do the proper one? I'm fuck. It's an extra 80 grand, and there's a high likelihood you'll die.
Yeah.
And my friend Jay Morton,
I'm out.
my friend Jay Morton's done it twice, and he nearly died
Yeah.
doing it. He stopped shivering. He said I was freezing. I stopped shivering. He said I thought I was going to die. And Middleton, I think, is the same. He nearly died doing it.
I think the danger with that is, isn't it? Because essentially money can get you on that mountain. It's like, but some of the best people in the world.
Oh, and the worst part,
Come
you're
on,
away
stop.
for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Were there any benefits to like going and just being at that altitude, at base camp? Did you come back and feel a bit better at least? I know that it's an experience you don't want to repeat, but
I did feel a little bit better. I went for a run.
Yeah. And you were breaking all sorts of records.
I felt fucking great.
PBs, yeah.
And then I think I got sick or something.
Yeah.
Had a headache when I got back. I felt weird when I got back. It's such a weird thing, the altitude.
Yeah.
My friend Paul Alima, you know Paul Alima? You'll know Alima. Alima's probably the funniest guy. Actually, not the funniest guy I know, actually. He's the funniest content creator, I think.
Yeah.
His content's amazing.
You'll have seen some of his stuff, probably.
Black Irish fella.
Yeah.
Paul's hilarious, great guy. And he nearly died doing base camp because of the. He said, "Did you not feel like you couldn't breathe?" I was like, "I wasn't affected by it, really." But one of the guys, Dan, who's in Alliance, Dan Grieve, he got evacuated. One of the trainee Sherpas got evacuated when we got to base camp. Dan got evacuated on like day 8. his blood oxygen was something like 57. I think he died at 55 or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I shit yourself in the room when we were there. He was like, I was like, what's the matter with yourself? I've just shit myself. And then a lady, I'll not name her. This lady was really mysterious. So basically there was me, 3 of my clients, my friends, and this girl. And this girl was with Americans, but she said they were a fucking pain in the arse. They were too slow. We were fairly fast. So she came with us and she was really covert. And I was like, she wouldn't get in photos. She was covering her face. And it turns out she was on King Charles's personal fucking security, like SAS. She got evacuated. So actually, and it doesn't matter how fit you are either. It does, huh?
We need a chopper.
You got evacuated. So actually, it doesn't even matter how fit it was, and apparently, it just affects people in different ways.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was fine with it. I actually felt weird when I got back.
And you won't know until you're up at that height.
I
didn't feel fuck all. I felt it when I got down. I was like, this feels weird, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not like we can train for it here, is it either?
No.
It's crazy.
There was in terms of that, I saw something the other day from yours, and it come up old because I've been looking through stuff, and it was on the back of that, because I always think when you put your mind to it, it's almost getting done. Yeah. And we'll all have failures at stuff. Yeah. But to the best of your ability, you'll get it done. Yeah. And it was a video where you're talking about, how to believe in yourself.
And why you don't have to.
Yeah, and when you just tell people to believe in yourself. Yeah. And can you chat on that?
Yeah. Well, being in yourself is weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. I'm like, that sounds weird as fuck. But I think people using that, if I just believed in myself, I'd do it. But why would you believe that you can do something that you've never done?
Yeah.
For a start. Why would you be confident about something that's brand new? You wouldn't. And I think we often use it as a crutch, because belief, in my opinion, comes from benchmarks. I get the belief that I can do it usually after I've done it, because you've got no evidence that you can do it whatsoever. Like a jiu-jitsu comp, I've got evidence that I can do it, but I haven't got evidence that I can win. So why would I believe I could?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. So, and I think the ultimate example is Emma Raducanu, who turns out is actually not that good at tennis, I think. Right?
Yeah.
So, and I think this is incredible. And even if you think about it, right, for us guys, our most proud achievements were things that at some point we didn't think we could. We didn't believe we could, and we did it anyway. But Emma Raducanu, she'd booked a flight home from the US Open for after our first match, which was a qualifier.
I remember that, yeah.
She booked a flight home.
Wow.
She didn't believe, and then she was the only ever qualifier to win it. But she booked so she didn't believe she could. She just turned up and kept hitting balls. So she just kept proving herself wrong almost. And I think a lot of us want to prove ourselves right. Oh, I don't think I can. Well, if you think you can, it's too small for a start. The goal's too small. If you think you can do it, it's too boring.
Yeah.
It's realistic. I don't like that. It's got to be. I think realism matters. I think it's achievable matters. But I think actually a lot of the goals that we think we can are the ones that we don't, because they're too boring. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think with her as well, that pressure of not being an unknown at the time, wasn't she as well? Like she was just like,
didn't think she could win it. I'm just going to turn up and have a game. I'm just happy to be here.
And now maybe that pressure's got to her a little bit. You see that a lot, don't you?
Maybe or she's just not that good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like she turned up to this thing. She was on fire. Everything she hit turned to gold. I think actually you're right. Yeah. She wasn't really playing with confidence. She was playing with no one cares.
Yeah, it's true.
Probably was.
Yeah.
She was playing with that no one cares attitude. It's just fine if I lose.
I remember once, right, I did this race and it was Motivator next to Snowdon down in Wales, right? Mm-hmm. And that week, this was on the Saturday, and I was racing for Yorkshire, and it was an inter-counties championship. Yeah. And I was running really well at the time. Yeah, I was running
behind it.
Yeah. Well, I was running really well at the time, but that week in the build-up, I was doing some filming we did an episode of Country File on Snowdon, so I raced the train up.
By the way.
Beat that bit out.
I was more impressed that he managed to pronounce in Welsh, because he keeps telling us he's fluent.
Yeah. Fluent, yeah. So we were filming, racing the train up Snowdon, and I remember I was sort of down there for the week before, and it was the presenter, John. What's his name?
Don't ask me, mate. Country File.
Wrong programme for me, Ben.
Terrible. No, not John Kelly. God,
John Fury.
I've done him a massive disservice now, haven't I?
I'm just going to start naming all the Johns.
I've done a massive disservice now.
John Cleese?
No, not John Cleese. I don't think we're going to get there, are we?
He's thinking of Johns now,
he was a big Sunderland fan anyway, so we'd done the filming.
I think we're talking about John Craven.
John Craven. How could I forget that? Anyway, me and John Craven, right, we'd got on really well.
Look, you pretend you know him now.
Massive
Couldn't remember his name, but I know he's been made.
Joe Rogan,
big Sunderland fan.
Massive Sunderland fan.
He's in a WhatsApp group with Killian Jornet with him.
Well, yeah, he's my other best mate, isn't he, Killian Johnny? So me and John Craven, after the filming, we'd gone out, and this was the night before we were doing the race, and we were in the hotel bar, and he said, "Do you fancy watching the Sunderland game?" I was like, "Yeah." And we had 4 or 5 pints watching the Sunderland game. Went to bed, and I remember laid in bed thinking, "I fucked this up. Like, I've got this massive race tomorrow. Pressure's on. I'm running for Yorkshire. It's a huge, huge race. People are going to expect me to do well." And I've just been out and sunk a few pints with John Craven. Yeah. And the next day I turned up and I put no pressure on myself because I thought, well, I fucked this. Yeah. I've completely fucked it. I'm going to set off mid-pack and I'm just going to try and hang in, see how it goes, and just do a respectable performance. Anyway, set off mid-pack as I mentally prepare myself for. And I usually set off really fast. Yeah. And I just built my way in. Got to first checkpoint. I thought, I feel pretty good. I'm going to push on a little bit further. Yeah. And as it transpired, I just kept going through the field. And just because I had no pressure on myself, I put no pressure on myself. Yeah, I was still pissed. There was probably that as well.
I run fast now and I'm pissed as well.
There was probably that as well. Yeah, that's true actually. I usually do with a good hangover. And I got to the last climb and I was in like 5th and I made a push for it. And then on the final descent, I got into 1st and I won the race.
Mad,
biggest race of my career.
Because you detached from the outcome.
And I just
People say that all the time.
Yeah, and it just reminded me when you spoke about Emma Raducanu there, sometimes you put too much pressure on yourself, don't you? And that's honestly what it was.
The importance of things. Yeah. That's when we're anxious. We're making things more important than what they are. Things sometimes
definitely.
We're over-egging how important it is, and it's not.
And there was no nervous energy there because I'd already conceded the race. I honestly thought I was going to have a bad race because of like what I'd done the night before. And I'm not saying like everybody should go out and get pissed the day before your biggest race, but I think you can link the fact that there was no pressure on myself and I've not put it on there. Well, just a different mindset.
I remember that Vinny said to me, I was talking about this. Vinny Showman was like, "Paul, I want to ask you a question." He said, "Is it that important?" He said, in the grand scheme of things, he said, if I told my wife, I'm going to tell my wife now that Paul Mort's won a gold medal in jiu-jitsu, or Paul Mort's a best-selling author, or Paul Mort's beat bipolar, Paul Mort's done this, which one does she give a fuck about? Which one do you think she'll give the least fuck about? I was like, oh, fuck. It was the jiu-jitsu. That sport where you really tight clothes and roll around the floor with young lads.
Can I throw one in there?
Yeah.
What if you've made it important? How do you make it unimportant?
Ooh.
Ask your wife.
I suppose it'll work sometimes. Making something important does work because that's your motivation. Like, this does matter, matter. And I think it's just probably looking at the grand scheme of things. Does this matter so much? What does this matter? Does this matter compared to this? Because that's probably what it is. It's probably...
Because I think we've all done that, haven't we? We've all got ourselves into it. And then, I think I was taught... As long as you recognise it, that's the first step, isn't it? I have made this too important. Yes. But if you've got any strategies for unimportanting it?
I think so. I think it's going to be I learned a technique called diversion, where you divert your attention onto something else. This is how I cured me having panic attacks on every single flight. Like, I've been sedated on flights. Sol Campbell was sat next to me once and sat somewhere else because I was fucking like this on a flight. It was to an NFL game, actually, my first ever NFL game at Twickenham. Remember Chris Burgess?
Yeah.
It was with Chris Burgess. I was going to the NFL to meet him, and he got up and moved. I've been sedated, but I learned a technique called diversion, which is essentially just take your mind somewhere else. I think that's why I did better with the jiu-jitsu comp. I couldn't think about it all day because I was being dad. I was boxing. We were drama, we were at the match, and then the only time I really thought about the match was when I was on my way there, and even then, I had the second half of the match on the radio. So I got there, and then I'm watching other people's matches, getting weighed, and then I was like, oh shit, it's time to fight. And that's why I did better. So it's just, if I'm making something too important, I shift my mind on it. There's definitely something else more important. So when I'm on a flight, the most important thing when I'm anxious is, I'm stuck. I can't get off this. It's not about dying, crashing, I'm stuck. I can't get off. What the fuck am I going to do? So now... We've got Football Manager, we've got Football Manager, we've got things to watch, things to do. So it's actually just diverting your attention onto something else.
Yeah.
So
keeping your mind occupied.
I can't manage fucking MK Dons and be anxious at the same time. You know what I mean? There's so many. Honestly, the stuff that I've learned about diversion, about anxiety has changed me fucking life.
In the old chimp paradox stuff and everything, they
Is it?
They call that version of their version that is like throwing the monkey the banana.
Yes.
And you're like diverting his attention.
Give it something else to think about.
Yeah, and
that's okay. That's what a lot of people do when they're running, don't they?
And it's okay for a certain amount of time, but at some point you have to
you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
One of the things, and it helps because I'm always late for everything, a bit like you, Gary. But one of the things I did is not turn up to a race too early because you can just psych yourself out. And I mean, I've got friends who are unbelievable in training, but when it gets to a race, they just haven't got that mental mindset. And so I think sometimes they're lacking that killer instinct for whatever reason, but they can perform in training, they can't do it at the race.
My son had his first boxing match in December. He's 14, and I'd cornered a lot of fighters. I'd had 3 fights myself, and I knew that. So we had to weigh him in, he had to get his photos taken. I said, son, let's go home and just fucking play PlayStation for a bit. And I went in for his fight. It was scary, actually. I said, it's okay if you're nervous, you know, son. He was like, I'm not nervous. I was like, no, it's okay. He was like, oh, what's the point? I couldn't argue the logic.
Yeah.
He was like, what's the point in getting nervous?
Yeah.
And I couldn't answer it. I said, well, you're going to get punched in the face. He was like, I get punched in the face every week at training. And then in the fight, not remotely nervous.
Cool as a cucumber.
It was fucking scary.
Wow.
He got his nose bust in the first round. He said, Dad, have I got a snotty nose? I was like, no, it's pissing the blood. It's all over your face. And then I know about how to, so sometimes it's easy to tell someone. I just kept going, are you having a good time? He's like, damn, I'm having such a good time. And I didn't even try and coach him in between. I did a little bit, but I knew that there was no point because he's not going to listen. So I just distracted him. Made him laugh.
That's incredible discipline, isn't it? At such a young age.
Unbelievable, And he just, when he said, what's the point? I was like, actually, that's quite profound. I couldn't answer his fucking question. What's the point in getting nervous? Actually,
it's true.
What's the point in being nervous? Maybe I should start asking myself.
I have asked myself the same questions, when I've been in a start lap. Yeah, because you can either nothing's going to change.
How much energy you are burning?
Nothing's
it's wasted energy, isn't it?
It is
wasted energy
on the start line, honestly. And I think you just get better at dealing with things, can't you? Yeah. Because if you can either be nervous and waste a lot of energy, or you can try not to be and you're in the same situation.
I think nerves is such a huge thing because he actually said to me, so this is mad. My son gets coaching for his mindset. So he plays rugby and he boxes. And he gets coaching off Sunderland's captain on his mindset, which is just cool as fuck. And he said, Dad, you know what I remember? He said, Luke said to me, he said, have you seen, Luke and I or not? He's mental, man. You know what he did this? Have you ever seen his memes?
No.
He's got so many. He's got a meme of him. He's basically does stupid shit on the pitch. Like he kissed a Norwich player on the lips, right? He gave one of the, normally, when someone's through and you like take a foul for the team, I take him out or he's past you. Luke jumped on someone's back and got a piggyback. He just on Wednesday night, he cleaned the linesman out, right? Wiped him out, and picked up his flag and started waving it. He's just a walking meme. Anyway, he said to me,
you don't want to go up because you lose those characters in the
he's a walking meme. This guy, he's hilarious and he's class. Like he got when the game where we missed 2 penalties. He gave me some for his birthday. He gave him a signed shirt saying happy birthday. I got the whole team to sign it.
Wow, what a man!
Which is an unbelievable gift. Anyway, he coaches Max on his mindset and this mindset thing that he has. And he said, Dad, do you know what Luke told us? He said, nerves and excitement are the same thing. I said, so you excited? He was like, I'm excited. It's mad, isn't it?
You've got to channel it in a different way, haven't you?
Oh, you do. It is the same thing.
It is the same thing, yeah. I mean, I tend not to turn up too early to races, but also...
That's huge. I think that's huge.
I'll take myself off at the start and I'll do my own warm-up, but away from the start. And then I'll only come back in when it's about time to go. Because if you stood there and you just... I think
a lot of people like
situation makes you
hypes
nervous.
them up and that. Yeah. I don't think you need hype.
No, I don't think you need
We go to this thing. It's like the World Cup of running. It's UTMB in France in Chamonix, and it's where all the best are going to do the biggest race of the year.
Yeah.
And I was presenting that this year.
Yeah.
And that gave me access to like the holding pen for the elite athletes.
Right.
So every brand has got their elite athletes essentially, and they all go into this. It's basically a separated bit about 50 meters away from the actual start line. It's meant to be where you're taken away, but there's still cameras there and everything. Everyone's got a press pass. So, but they've got no escape. They're like a little caged animal. Yeah. So it's interesting because out of all the favourites and stuff, you could literally pick out who was going to have a shit race, who was relaxing. Because there was a couple just sat on the floor chatting, relaxing.
Yes.
There was another one literally stood, looked like he was off his tits, eyes like fucking just shaking.
I remember one guy in because I've cornered a lot of boxers, like I said, and there was one guy drinking Red Bull. I was like, what are you doing that for? It's fucking 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. One guy had a line. I saw one guy having a line. Had a line to go before a fight. He was like, I'm getting energy. I was like, trust us, mate. His first fight, you are not going to need that. Because as soon as your walking music comes on, your fucking energy is going to go through the roof.
Don't need any more.
He quit after the first round because he was too hyped up.
Yeah.
But you see it all the time, like people put. In fact, we see the bare knuckle.
Get that massive adrenaline dump.
You don't need it. Like we went to a bare knuckle fight. My son loves watching any kind of combat sport, so we went to this bare knuckle on Saturday, and you'll see the guys that are like, yeah, nah, nah. And then you see the ones that are chill.
The quiet
and the chill ones are the ones that win. They're not hyped up. They're not too pumped up. They're just like calm, breathing through their nose all the time. And you can always tell what the fight's going to look like. And all the ones that are hyped up, they don't even box. They just fucking throw haymakers. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Not in a million years would I do bare knuckle. But that prep is mad, innit? And I've done the whole thing with the music, Eye the Tiger on before the jiu-jitsu comment. It hasn't worked.
Yeah, because you're sort of getting yourself to a level, but that adrenaline's going to kick in anyway. You don't need it, do you? You're right. Yeah.
When you see him training now, and he's training for his boxing and everything, and obviously he sounds like he sees things in a different way to you,
logical.
Maybe. Yeah?
He's logical as fuck. He hasn't believed in Santa since he was 7.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Dad, if Santa's real, why is the toys in the stall you're around?
So do you find that
he's different to me?
Do you find that? Because I find that I've got a 9-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old boy, and I find like I learn some things through them because they're either more in tune with their emotions now, or they're more open to being emotional and stuff like this.
And sometimes they haven't learnt what we've learned.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They haven't learnt what we've learnt, which is sometimes good.
And I think I've got X, Y, and Z wrong on me because I wouldn't have been speaking like that when I was that age.
It's funny, so my son and my daughter are totally different. Like my son's quiet and reserved and is a little silent fucking killer.
Yeah.
And but he's funny. So he's so chilled when he's doing stuff because he legit doesn't get to be nervous. He's like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I be nervous? And my daughter will get really hyped up because she's like me. And we're in this phase right now where actually this is one of the reasons I was thinking about this morning. Do you know one of my favourite things when I hear my kids singing in the house? I'm like, that's a sign of a happy kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's singing fucking non-stop. She's got me. The other week I got in, I'd done the drama. You know, it was a Thursday's mental. So I'm working all day, going to jiu-jitsu for an hour. I'm picking her up from singing. I'm taking him to rugby. And then Leslie's joined the special. So on a Thursday night, she's busy. So I come back and I put a match on. It was a Thursday night game. I can't remember who it was. I put it on. I was like, I'm going to chill here. Stood in front of the telly and sung for an hour. Dad, I'm going to sing this one next. I'm like, I wanted to say, will you shut the fuck up? You've got me head melted. But then I think if you tell someone to shut up enough times, they will. Because that's certainly happened to me in my life where, and I'm like, do I want to beat that out of her? I beat that out. But the same, if we were here now, she'd sit next to us and just go, do you know what he did next? And she'd just take over the story. And part of me wants to go, you shut up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want it to be that character. I want it to be your fucking... Like, people know us as... People say... I get a message. Your daughter's got main character energy. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Main character vibes. So, yeah, I learned so much from both of them.
You're right, though, because when you get a bit older, I think it's almost like school can suck the life out of you if you're not careful. 100%. So when, like my daughter's learning the guitar at the minute, and...
that's something that I wish I'd done, by the way.
Exactly, you see stuff like that. I mean, she's obviously dog shit and it sounds horrendous.
But
like you say, and you're trying to watch footy or something, and you've got that next year. But like you say, part of you is also thinking, like it's amazing at the same time.
You know what it is? I learned so much stuff about being a dad as well. So I did the whole, I want my son to be one in. So the reason he didn't pick up football was he was 11. When he was 4, I used to force him to go to football.
Yeah.
I used to drag him to matches and be like, why are you looking at the iPad? And then I did that so much that he hated it. Same with jiu-jitsu. He's good at jiu-jitsu. And I forced him to go and he didn't want to go. And then he ended up hating it. So with the boxing and the rugby, I've actually just gone, do you want to go?
Yeah, left him to it.
Do you want to go? Yes or no?
Because it's hard when they're in age. We know when you take them to something and then you realise that they're not enjoying it. But you're almost
You want them to be into it?
It's not even that. It's like, because mine did rugby for a bit, but it was like Saturday morning, 9 a.m. and he did winters of it. And you're like, and he was like, he doesn't want to go. And you're like, you feel like... What you want to avoid is I don't want to feel like I'm failing because I'm not forcing him to go to rugby. It's not you.
It's a funny thing to get right, I think.
You've got to find their own way.
At the same time, you don't want a lazy kid.
Yeah.
But then I've got to compare. I did this the other week. Actually, he's 14, and I get on his case a little bit because when he's not at training, he probably does 3-4 sessions a week. I'm on his case about being on his Xbox. Like, mate, you've never put your phone down. You've done this, and I'm like, But when I was 14, I was fucking smoking weed.
Yeah.
I was smoking weed and getting pissed, and I'm
Knocking
giving
around
him
the
shit for
park
playing
with
Fortnite with
cider
his
and
mates.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's so weird.
Yeah.
Leslie was 14 when I met her. She was in a bar.
Yeah.
I was a glass collector in a bar. I was 16, and she's out drinking in a bar. And I'm giving my son for playing shit for playing fucking Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing. But then I'm like, I try to learn. I think we're trying to learn from our childhood and what you're just making it up like.
It's a different world now, though, isn't it, from when we grew up? We'd play outside, wouldn't we, on a night? Now,
Couldn't get me in.
kids are just on their
I get
phones
grounded
now,
for
aren't they?
coming home late.
Yeah.
I can't get him out.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's so
changed
mad.
a
I
lot.
was saying that. I was talking about it last night with the dads at rugby. I was like, fucking hell, you legit. I'd get grounded every fucking week because I'd miss the last bus home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Tea, yeah,
You'd miss your tea, and I can't get them out now.
Yeah, it's true. It's gone the other way, hasn't it?
It has, aye.
And you know, like, I mean, it must be a challenge for you two with kids trying to get them off the phones and stuff. But actually, for me, it's a challenge getting me off my phone because I've got some bad habits. You know,
I can't.
I am terrible. I mean,
that's the first thing they'll say to me. But Dad, you've been on your phone for the last hour. Don't
Yeah.
tell me to get off it.
well, I was just going to ask you that. Yeah, are you sort of somebody who, I know you've obviously taken your watch off, so you don't know what you're running there and what you're tracking. But are you bad on the phone? Because I am.
Oh, I'm addicted
It's
to
terrible.
it. 100%.
Yeah, I am.
I think everyone's addicted to it. I'll admit I'm addicted to it though.
Yeah, I'm just
I know
scrolling
I'm
through
addicted
reels.
because I can't stop.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah.
Aye. So what I just have techniques. I when I'm on holiday, I do take my phone now. I went maybe 4 years without taking my phone, but I think now you kind of need it.
Yeah.
There's got
To pay for things
you
and-
pay
yeah,
for
yeah,
things to fucking in case you get arrested, in case you
Yeah.
get lost somewhere. I do it. The main reason I use it now when I'm on holiday, so a taxi driver's not ripping me off.
Yeah.
You know when they go the long way around?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
that's not the way.
I've got
Go the
Google
wrong
Maps
way,
for it.
daft
Yeah,
cunt.
yeah.
You do need it sometimes.
You do.
So what I do now is, and this is not a hack, right? But I do it now on a night time. I just delete the apps.
Yeah, on
I don't lock
every
myself.
night.
I just delete them
Yeah.
every night. And
Really?
I reinstall them every morning.
No way. Is that
every
not
day.
like a
It's a pain in the
lengthy
arse.
process? I was
And
gonna
that's why
say,
it's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm like,
So-
oh, can I really be asked?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it, I'm
Because I
not
think
doing it.
sometimes people don't want to admit that they will just pick it up and scroll and do that stuff. So they leave it all there and just try and avoid it. Whereas, like you say, these, like people get those bricks or whatever where they lock them in.
Yes, I've had them. I've had them.
And that will, but I think as a
Then I just end up spending a fortune on them because I just break it with a hammer. I break it with a screwdriver.
But,
I just
there's
spend a
nothing
fortune.
wrong with like, okay, I need to physically delete it for tonight.
Yeah.
And then bringing it back
And
in.
then I do that sometimes. My phone dies. I'm like, oh, I'm going to charge it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it.
Just let it go.
Again, it's
Yeah.
one of those things where like I'm not going to lie to myself
Because those
anymore.
times where
Yeah.
you generally run out of battery and you've got no choice and it's gone for 4 or 5 hours or whatever, and it's like you.
Well, I
you're
love
like,
it on a laptop when I see my battery's dying because it makes us. I'll finish something fast because
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to die.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You
And I don't
think
know where the plug is and I can't be asked to look for it.
you turn it back on, you've got one notification.
Oh, you're not spotlighting. You are. Well, that happens to me when I go on holidays. So I delete emails, I delete WhatsApp, which sometimes is a pain in the dick. I delete Facebook, I delete Instagram. I don't use LinkedIn. It's full of cunts. Full of liars. Full of liars, honestly. It's so embarrassing when I see people on LinkedIn. I'm like, no. The first thing I think when I go on LinkedIn is, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
I'd read
Never
a post,
happened.
I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't.
But it's like a different language as
It
well.
is a
isn't
different
Yeah.
language. I
Yeah.
posted.
Yeah.
I do post stuff on there.
It's
but
just
I
full
don't-
of AI now, anyway, isn't it?
Ah,
You can
it
tell
is,
because it's full of
everything's full of
I can't
emojis.
remember the
isn't
last
it?
time I had a genuine DM, and everyone's really happy to connect.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
met so many people buzzing at us as a friend. But I dropped a video on there the other week. When I was
Joe from China.
how to do anything.
Gary Wong.
Oh, unbelievable. Oh no, what's my favourite one? Let's go. Let's go, you know, let's go. But I posted this video on there of a woman walking, big tits, right? And then I interrupted it and said, what are you looking at tits for? Buy me a new book. I'd do anything to sell that book, right? Anyway, 2 things happened. A big magazine cancelled an interview with us.
No way.
So the publisher messaged said, Paul, so-and-so, I'll not name them, so-and-so have withdrawn their interview request. Can you take that
Playboy.
video down? I was like, no. I was like, if I do an interview with someone that doesn't appreciate a great set of tits, the interview's going to be a nightmare. Like, because you're offended by that. We're not going to have a great conversation. I'm not willing to censor myself anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to. But then that video I posted on LinkedIn, someone said, you can't post that on here. I just did.
Exactly, yeah.
I just did. What are you going to do about it? Tell me, mum. She loves tits as well. Sorry, I've totally forgot where I am. Deleting the apps, it just makes me like it's a second thought. It's
Yeah.
like when you have, people say you should. I remember 2020, I probably got in the best shit in my life except last year. 2020, when in lockdown, I used to stick something in my fridge saying, no more food, fat cunt.
Yeah.
No more food. And it doesn't stop you.
Yeah.
But it makes you
Question.
think for a second.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, do I really need this? Do I really want this? And that's what it's like with the apps. It's easy. I have to do it every night.
It's a good technique.
Because when you all you're
Obviously
checking whether
works.
people have liked stuff, and
Yeah.
I know myself.
I'm conscious of your time, mate. I'm conscious of your time.
I'm
but
not in a hurry.
I do want to touch on the book as well.
Yes.
Because I loved I mean, you're the king of this anyway with books and titles. But I want you to give me 2 or 3, if you can, titles from the chapters of your book.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, the first sentence says unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
It explains the concept of being unfuckwithable. That is in because that's what I wanted to call the book. I love this concept of being unfuckwithable. This is where no negativity can't really touch you because you're able to spin things, you're able to reframe things. People's bullshit can't really touch you, not really affected by it. You're just fucking, not bulletproof, but like things just can't fuck with you.
Yeah.
Nothing can fuck with you. Whether you lose in jiu-jitsu, it doesn't really fuck with you. Whether you get injured, it doesn't fuck with you. But
you used to have that thing where it's like, I've only got so many fucks to
no,
give.
So many fucks to give, and I'm not spending them on, and you're not getting them on. You're not getting them. But that's one of them, and I wanted to call it that, and they loved the title. Like, you could get away with it in bookstores because you've got the subtle art and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
I remember the first book that I read like that was called Fuck It. Terrible book, great title. I didn't like that book at all. Anyway, I wanted to call it that, but they were like, well, we've had 4 people proofread the book, Paul, and read the book and get sorted with the concepts and that, and 2 of them thought it was called Unfuckable. I was like, well, no one wants to be that. No one wants to be that. I've tried my hardest, but so that's one of the titles. Fucking hell, what are the other concepts I've got? I've probably got something about cool
that
story.
Could be your book.
I'll save that. It's saved. I'll part that one.
Right, so they didn't want to call it that, but that's pretty much the whole premise.
Unrunnable is not a bad idea, though.
Yeah,
Unrunnable. But man, I'm trying to think of some of the fucking titles. You know, I wrote that book, finished it last March, but they wanted it. I signed the deal in April, and they wanted to publish it in January during the New Year, New Me Brigade. You fucking
let me pick one out for you.
You stitched me right up here. I was going to say, you stitched me right up.
Because I sent them to Ben because it's like...
You know what I want to do, Gary, with that book, right?
Yeah.
The purpose of that book was, I've had that goal since 2017 to get a book on the shelves in a major publisher. I self-published a book in 2019. In 2020, Harper Collins approached me and said, Paul, I'd love to do a book with you, but printing costs have gone up. You're a risk. Because in the personal development field, unless you're a doctor or you've got millions of followers, you can't get a book deal. And my following's relatively small. You think about it, they've got someone like me or some cunt of Geordie Shaw that's lost a little bit of weight, right? They're going to publish them because they're guaranteed some sales. With me, even in the bookstores, people are going to be like, who's this Paul Mort? Book title looks cool, the cover, who's this Paul Mort? Which is why, I don't know if you've seen the cover, it's full of celebrity quotes.
Yeah.
Russell Kane, Chris Ramsey, Ollie Ollerton, Smith. Like, because they give me credibility.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a celebrity. So I wanted that deal. It came to me in 2020 and said, Paul, let's do an audiobook because it's low risk. Cost them the production costs. I was like, listen.
Have they heard you speak?
Have
they heard you speak?
Well, funny story. The first one sounds different to the one that I just did because I had a producer from London.
Yeah.
The second one, I had a Geordie producer.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't make me say words.
Yeah.
She was like, you don't say it like that. I'm like, I fucking say it like that.
Do you know what? And that's so good because I've listened to them both.
Yeah.
And
Did they sound different?
I couldn't listen to the first one.
Posh?
Because I've listened to you so much.
Who the fuck is this guy?
It was quite jarring.
Irritating as fuck.
Yeah,
I hated it.
Read it. Whereas, like you say, this
the second one I could go with the flow.
Be more yourself.
Because he wasn't. I mean, I don't know if he didn't do it on purpose. He was just like, well, that's the way you say it.
Yeah.
She made me repeat certain things because obviously she has a different accent, and she was an older lady. She worked for BBC News. She was an investigative journalist for the BBC. So she was very different to what I'd usually deal with. This guy was a Geordie that already followed me. Actually, no, he lived in Newcastle, but he was a Sunderland fan. He followed me already. So it was like, we just fucking did it. We blasted it out. But yeah, that book was, and again, I just wanted the paperback thing. Funny enough, I wanted to be a journalist when I left school. I was good at writing. And I was like, my kids took the piss out of me because they'd always see me mates, Dad, when we're going to see your book on the shelves? And they'd always say that there's James's, there's fucking Tyson's, there's Ollie's, there's fucking, who else has been on? My friend Michael Hebble's got books on the shelves, and I always wanted to do it. So that was a big deal for me. And then, but the problem that I had was, why would they, can you think about it? Books cost money to print, a lot of money to print. PR campaigns cost a lot of money. Why would they trust me to do that? So I went to them with the book already written, paid for a professional editor to edit it, and I legit said, you don't need to pay me any money. I just want the book on the shelves. A, it's a flex.
Yeah.
B, me kids will love it. C, I want me stuff to get in the hands of more people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want a bloke who doesn't normally read to be at Newcastle Airport and go, that book looks cool as fuck. I'm going to read. And the book is very readable. Like, I designed it because, like books like The Daily Stoic are really popular because you don't have to read it all. Yeah. You don't feel the pressure to read it all. You like, read this page, these 2 sections, and then put it down. I put it down. That's what I wanted my book to read. So we kind of entitled most of the sections of what I'm going to call a mind vitamin. You take this vitamin for your mind every day. And then I wanted there to be something to do at the end of the chapter. What you got, Gary? Have I bought you enough time to look at the chapter titles?
No, I was just going through them again because, like you say, like we've covered some of it, but it was, top of the morning, establishing good habits.
Yeah, so I think this has been bastardized a little bit more than habits, because you've either got the people who have a 3-hour morning routine or the people that slate 3-hour morning routines. Yeah. However, everyone has a morning routine. Most people are just unconscious of what it is. You know what I mean? They are. Like everyone has a they do. Yeah. Everyone has a what do? I get up, look at my phone for 20 minutes, I have a coffee, then I have a shit, then I have a shower, then I brush my teeth, then I go to work. That's a morning routine.
It is, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And again, it gets slated, but I'm just a big fan of it. I'm like, right, okay, 2 things. Tony Robbins was probably the guy that not invented them, but made them popular. He was all about the power hour in the morning. You'll have to have a look at this before you go. In 2001, I had QVC on. I'd just been sacked from a job in a gym for reasons that I can't discuss. Had something to do with a jacuzzi.
It was his morning routine.
So I'd just been sat here, and this guy with massive hands and giant teeth was on the TV, and he was talking about something I'd never heard before. And I bought this CD and DVD box set called Get the Edge, and I've got it out there still. 2001. He's talking about this hour of power. Get in the morning, go for a walk, do your, I think you call them incantations, and this one was, all I need is within me now. Yes, so I'll be walking through the allotments in fucking South Shields, right?
Saying this.
People are pissed, and I'll be going, and you do this, all I need is within me now. Yes, you'd have to do the yes at the end.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I'd look at it, and then I joined Wake Up Warrior, and they were banging into it. They'd tell you what to do. Then I was like, shh. And then you had the 5 a.m. club, and then you had, like, Win the Morning, Win the Day. Aubrey Marcus did a book on it. It's all the same thing. But I'm just like, right, if I do win the morning, I tend to win the day. I've got 2 options in the morning. I can wake up. This is all I'm about now. I'm not even about training first thing in the morning. I actually don't like training first thing in the morning. I'm old. I don't have a go slow. So I'm going to be fucked the rest of the day if I train in the morning. So I actually like training on lunchtime, which is very inconvenient. Leslie hates it.
Yeah.
She's like, you're fucking off in the middle of the day. She doesn't mind us training at 6 o'clock at night time anymore. But my body's dead. But like I'm done by then. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Young cunts have folded me in half. Midday is perfect, but then I can't do anything after either. But actually, think about this. Think about how productive I can be if I know that I'm at 12 o'clock, I've got jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I'm blasting it.
You're getting it in the day.
I'm blasting
it.
Because I've got urgency. It's like before Christmas. How productive are you the week before? Because you know you're taking 2 weeks off.
It's true.
So imagine if you create that level of urgency every day. Unbelievable. Production. But I'm like, do you know what? Like, if I've got 2 options. I can wake up in the morning and my brain is designed to protect me. So its first thought is always negative, almost every time. So my brain's thinking about all the things that I hope don't happen, all the things that I'm dreading doing, all of the people that I don't want to see, right? That's what your brain does.
It's true.
So I've got,
and how warm it is in bed.
How warm it is in bed, how cold it is outside, how shit your day looks, how full your schedule is, and the only thing you're thinking about is finishing work, getting home, and watching Netflix, which is fine if that's for you. Or I can train my brain to think about what I hope goes well, what could go well, what I want to achieve, who I want to impact positively, what I'm most excited about, and that's a decision. So legit, all I'm bothered about now, I'm not even bothered about the exercise anymore. Of course, I do the cold shower thing some mornings the ice bath, some mornings I'll walk here 30 minutes, and sometimes I will lift twice a week. I will lift before coming here, but I'm like, why would I let my brain do its default thing mentally and feel like shit and stressed or anxious or depressed, one of those 2. Or I can train my brain to feel excited, feel positive, feel inspired, feel a little bit scared, feel excited about impacting people. Like that's all I do now. It's not about training, and it's not even about ice baths for me now. The ice bath just makes you feel a little bit better. But I don't do it every day anymore. People think because you don't do it every day, you don't do it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
people think consistency is every day.
I use you as an example sometimes because you've seen, like, sometimes I like, people will assume I hate the whole ice bath thing and stuff. But in, like, our world, it is, people are...
Bastardized?
Well, that...
Bastardized?
And people are almost, like, selling it for recovery in terms of running or stuff like this. When it's like, I know for a fact, I've seen people do it. You're an example, and I've got friends that use it as, like, a mind shift or they put them in a...
I feel fucking mint when I get out.
They feel great, And it's like, why can't you just tell it what it is? If you get up in the morning and you jump in a cold shower or an ice bath and it changes your thoughts for the day...
You've just gave me an insight there, right? I'm doing 2 minutes of the ice bath instead of training. I am, because I know the training is going to make me feel better, but then later in the day I will be wrecked by 12 o'clock if I've had a hard session. So actually, if you're exercising to produce endorphins, that's the same thing as what an ice bath does. It's just faster.
Yeah, true.
And you don't stink after it. You smell better.
Because if you look on social
media,
isn't
there no evidence that it improves recovery or something?
No,
it
can actually hinder it to a certain degree, because that inflammation and stuff that it's selling you to reduce.
Natural.
A lot of the time you want that inflammation to repair. So if you're talking from a...
And you're thinking about all the people that say saunas speed up recovery?
Surely
saunas can't speed up recovery.
And
ice baths, because they're two opposites.
Well, yeah.
So you can't have anxiety and depression. The people I've got anxiety and depression. I'm like,
contrast can help because it's blood flow.
Yeah, because it's blood flow.
But if you're getting really deep into it, say you're an elite athlete and you've got training twice a day, then you could back up with research that if you jumped into a hard session, then had ice bath, then had a hard session later in the day, it could be a benefit.
Yes.
If you're just fucking Keith from accounts that's fucking jumping in an ice bath after your 50-minute jog around the block, it's not doing anything for your muscles. If it's doing something for your mind, 100%
I did it. You might have seen the video.
And that's the difference. Like you said, people are either for or against. And it's like, I'm not against ice baths. What I'm against is sometimes what people are telling you.
Sometimes people quoting the science that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, I did an interview with Brass Monkeys. I was the first person that bought their ice bath, and now, fucking hell.
Yeah.
There was one guy, he was in Alliance actually, and he's now got 57 staff since 2020. I'm like, he's fucking smashing it. And their ice bath is very expensive.
Yeah.
But I remember someone slating me for it. I'm like, well, I used to spend $1,000 a month on coke.
Yeah.
I paid $10,000. I'll never need another one.
There's people spending that on golf.
There is. I'm like, what?
There's people spending that on running. It's expensive.
There is. I'm like, it's $10,000. I'm never gonna. It cleans itself. I never even envy it. I mean, it's a great investment for me. They were like, why'd you do it? I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck about the science.
Yeah.
The science proven booze causes 7 kinds of cancer to people. Do you mention that science?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is. It's
people try and want me to prove why stretching might not be great for it. Isn't what people think. So I don't have to prove why it's a negative. You have to prove to me why it's a positive. Yeah. It's like you could just get the same result
stupid argument,
having a cup of tea and watching Netflix for half an hour as you can sat in your living room.
Well, funny enough, back to jiu-jitsu again and this warm-up thing. Some gyms make you warm up. Star jumps, forward rolls, bridges and trims, fucking stretching. My gym, the main one I train at, they'll go, well, actually the drilling's the warm-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I doing star jumps? It's got fuck all to do with jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Why are you running around the thing?
You're not running? At a low intensity.
I do some at a lower intensity, do some moves that you're actually going to do with no resistance, and then you get more training in.
Yeah.
Where some gyms you go to and they make you run laps and fucking do that thing. 1, where you touch the floor. 2.
And I get it if it's part of routine and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the thing in the morning routines is like, which is why I wanted you to use an example. It's like you see on social media, get up at 4 a.m. I did this, and there's all nice pictures of the coffee and X, Y, and Z. But like
2 fucking kids, I've got to get to school.
Well, exactly. Most of the time, a lot of the time, it's either their job as a content creator or whatever, or they're
selling them on
they're time rich because they're young or whatever, and they're just making a nice video.
Yeah,
it's unrealistic, isn't it?
Like, do you know what it is? I've been banging about my own routines for years. I've never made a video of me doing it.
Yeah,
you know why?
Exactly.
Because I'm doing it.
Yeah. You're doing it. Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm like, mine. I want mine to be as short as possible because I've got shit to get on with it. I've got shit to get on with. Making money and drumming up business, I call it, is part of my morning routine. Like if you're in business, it has to be. You have to do something that day to drum up business, and I put that in, and I'm like, do you know what? Like, it's not that big a deal. It has to be short. Some people use it as an excuse to not do the real work, I think, as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
3-hour morning routine, and they do
3-hour morning routine. Do you know what it reminds us of? Do you know Sam Forth, right?
No.
Oh, he's got a video where he compares running in the early 2000s to running now, you'd fucking love it. I have to send you it.
Yeah,
you see the
good.
Welsh lad that's done a few of them.
He's got a
things?
mustache.
Yeah, I've seen it. Well,
It's
I don't know if you've seen
amazing. That
one.
video, I don't even run. I think it's hilarious where he's recording himself running.
Oh, I
And then
think I have
going back
seen
and grabbing the
this.
video.
I think I have
Yeah.
seen
He's got
this.
to watch
Yes,
it. And then he
it's
does
very
a
good.
not pregnant test. Have you
Yeah,
seen that
that's
one?
it. It's really good.
That's a great, and that
I didn't
reminds me
realise
of
it was
like
him.
people that are real runners, right? Aren't doing all that shit.
Yeah.
And think sometimes the morning routine thing is like an excuse to not do the real work.
I remember.
I think it's important,
Yeah, me too.
but I'm like, if it takes that long,
But
like
your morning routine, like you say, could be just it needs to be 10 minutes to get out the door, kind of thing. That is your routine, whether it's like coffee, shit.
the only time I'm getting up is 4. The only time I'm getting up at 4 a.m. is when I'm going on holiday.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up that early, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got a lot going on that day. I'm not team no sleep.
Because I can be mega productive from 6 a.m.
Yeah.
But like when you said, if
by
someone said
by
to me,
7
I need
you're
to
back
do
in
2
bed.
hours before that, that pushes me into.
Why?
I like my sleep too much.
And and also what are you doing? Like, what are you really doing? Are
Yeah.
you doing anything of substance, or are you just doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff?
Yeah.
Like, all of my stuff is linked to what I'm trying to achieve, my goals. I'm not just doing. There's not many things that I do just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
for the sake of doing it. I have to have it linked to forward progress. It's having an impact. I can see progress.
Mm.
Like, if I'm not seeing progress, that's when it starts to become a fucking pain in the dick.
Yeah.
So morning routines, man. Yeah, important. Everybody has one, but these long ones just aren't for me, man.
Well,
I don't even think comparing morning routines. I'm not going to tell people you should have the same morning routine as me.
yeah, it's a weird thing to
Probably
argue.
shouldn't.
Don't you think it's a weird thing to argue about as well? Like sometimes if I make a joke about an ice bath or something, but I also like follow it up with, I live in North Wales. I'm running 12 hours a week in the snow sometimes. I don't need to get in an ice bath after
Yeah.
it. I like a hot shower or hot bath, thanks,
Yeah.
after all that.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who's like in an office
People
all week in
people love
London.
to defend what they believe in,
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
They just like to defend what they believe in, and I kind of get it. I also think they're just passionate about it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're passionate about it, and I quite like to see that. Even if I'm not into it, I love seeing someone that's passionate about the thing. So we had Phil Lerney on for Phil Lerney.
Yeah.
Phil came on and did a guest training for us on Monday, and it was it was proper geeky, right? And I just loved hearing him. I wasn't that into it. It was about sleep and that, but obviously it was really sciencey. But I love seeing people talk about what they're passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I hear people talking about their football team, I'm like, I don't support that team. I fucking love how passionate you're about it.
That's
Got
the
respect,
same,
haven't you?
That's the
I
same
do.
with talents, I always think. Like
I
musical
seen
instruments.
I seen it play the violin once, and it was in Cologne,
Yeah.
right? Not the aftershave. I was in Cologne, and this guy was playing, and I'm not even into it. I didn't even know the song, but I was like, I could tell that he fucking loved it.
Yeah.
And there's same with chefs are the best.
Yeah.
I've got no interest in cooking. Can't cook, won't cook, don't have to cook. And the when you see a Michelin star chef, these tweezers,
Yeah.
it's I get goosebumps.
You've
And
got to respect it, haven't you?
I'm not even into it. I would never do it.
No.
I remember interviewing on my podcast, I had Gordon Ramsay's business partner, Matt Abon, and I asked him, mate, so what's fine dining? And he went on a round for about 30 minutes, and I
Yeah.
had goosebumps.
That's when you know, isn't it?
I had goosebumps. He went and ran for 30 minutes. I was like, wow, I thought it was just poncy food. And I love it. But when he explained it, I was like,
Yeah.
holy fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I think when people argue their beliefs on the internet.
Yeah.
That's all I think. They're really passionate about it. And I'm like, fair play. I'm not that passionate about arguing back.
Yeah.
You believe what you want to believe. Have your own experience of the world. Like, I'm fine with that.
Either that or people just aren't willing to be wrong because it could be something small. They're not passionate about it, but they don't.
Aye.
Yeah.
And I think that often, I remember saying, someone said to me years ago, I don't have to prove you wrong for me to be right.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're like with the ice
That's-
bath
yeah, a
thing.
little
I
bit
know,
like that,
I
yeah.
know that I'm right. I don't need to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I think one big take from this is, and it's been so interesting listening to you, Paul. I mean, we've
Oh,
probably
thank you,
been
sir.
talking like 2 hours now, haven't we? Almost.
But
But
talk about football, probably.
it don't feel like 2 hours, does it? Because
Nah.
we're just having a chat amongst friends here.
And
it's
this is
been
why I'm
brilliant.
glad it wasn't.
Yeah.
Interviews are so different. That's why my
Oh.
early podcasts were like that.
Um,
Question 1, question 2. And the problem I had was I was interviewing celebrities.
yeah.
So I interviewed, and I wish I'd done a better job now. Anthony Crolla was one of my favourite boxers, right? I interviewed him, and I asked him such shit questions that he'd answered them hundreds of times.
Yeah.
So it was just a bit mechanical. It was a bit media trained. I wish I just had the crack with him.
Well, that's
But
the
I
best
didn't
bit,
know
isn't
then.
it? Yeah,
Aye.
we never script it, do we? We just
No.
go in, and we didn't know
No.
where
You have
this
an
was going
idea
to
of
go.
what you
I
want
had
to
a
talk
couple
what
of things I
direction?
definitely wanted
Yeah.
to cover
Yeah.
because otherwise we would just talk football.
Yeah.
And then,
Then no one else
Easy.
interested.
Yeah,
no one will
yeah.
fucking listen.
Aye.
And like someone like Paul is so valuable, but at the same time, like the reason why we all do this podcast stuff sometimes is just to have good crack for a little bit.
Oh, of course it is,
And I think we can all learn from each other, but also like everyone's different out there. One thing I took from this today, listening to it, is that we're going to get people to get tips for motivation and to get out of like sticky situations or improve your life. But actually, you've just got to find what works for you, haven't you? Like you've got to find what works for you, and you can learn from other people, but you've got your own routines. You'll approach races differently. You'll find motivation in different places, and that's my big take from this. Actually, from listening to you both, especially you, Paul.
What hippies would call it, like some like self-awareness fucking.
It would be something like that, wouldn't it? It would be. Yeah.
I hate saying that.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna say it. You know what? For me, the big thing I've got from this is the importance of you choose what things mean.
Exactly.
Like I get to choose
you make
the
it
meaning.
fit. Yeah.
I learned from an old coach of mine called Peter Sage. Peter's just rode across the Atlantic, 3,000 miles across the Atlantic. Him and his mate, no brakes.
Wow.
So it's either him rowing.
No brakes on the boat.
No brakes. So either one of them had to be rowing continuously, and he said to me, "When you master meaning, you master your life." Because that's unfuckwithable, really.
Yeah.
Being unfuckwithable is about making whatever you make something mean is completely up to you. And this is why you see people like, when people, my life's different, my life's this. I'm like, well, I've seen too many people overcome huge adversity, huge obstacles to think that your situation's unique. There's hundreds of people that have overcame that.
Yeah.
And the only difference is they changed the meaning.
Yeah.
That's all they did. They changed the meaning and then took the appropriate next steps. You've got one meaning, but that's never the only meaning. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's never the only meaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get the. I'm just like all the time. Like, well, what else could that mean? I lost. You know, there's the you win or you learn, right? That's John Kavanagh, I think, said that. McGregor's coach. But like that is it. What did I learn? I lost. That doesn't mean I'm a loser. I lost. Well, what does it mean? What does it mean? It means I need to get better. It means I need to compete again as soon as I can. I lost. I was really nervous. I shit myself. What does that mean? Like, it mean I'm a pussy, or I need to compete again as soon as I can. As soon as I can, I need to get to work on this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people will fail at something, never do it again.
Yeah.
Like, man, come on, man, you didn't really fail. You didn't win.
Yeah. And you're not going to win at everything in life.
That's why,
It's just
like you've got the
impossible.
jiu-jitsu and stuff, but it is good having something outside of your speciality kind of thing.
Oh,
like
100%.
taking you out of that. Like if someone puts me in a room up and maybe talk about running, it's easy.
Yeah.
And when you do that for so long, it is easy kind of thing. So having something outside of
Sometimes when it gets easy, it also means it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like legit, I love business, but sometimes I do find it boring.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I do find it boring. I'm like, this is what you have to do. You have to eat shit sometimes. You can find ways to make. I think that's sometimes why I just break things.
Yeah.
As you'd be like, you're looking for a problem, you. I said, what do you mean?
Again
Because
or
you're bored.
whatever.
I closed down a program last year that was worth a lot of money. Now, I was partly just because I was bored of running it. I knew how to fill it. I knew how to get people in. The delivery was the same. It got a bit boring. Like, it was too easy, and I think that can happen.
You've got that challenge, haven't you?
Aye.
Yeah.
You got that challenge. You need variety. I love variety. Some people can do the same thing forever. I'm not one of those people. You know, people that stay in the same job forever. My dad worked in the same factory for 35 years. I'm like, bro, I lasted 3 years and I had to get out. I got my apprenticeship and I was like, I was out on the day I got my certificate. And some people like that. They love certainty. I love, and I think when you're in business especially, the biggest thing is you have to be okay with uncertainty. You don't know when you're going to get paid. You don't know whether someone's going to stop paying you. You don't know whether a staff member's going to leave. Connor's leaving in 2 weeks. Like, it's just constant uncertainty, but I like that.
Yeah.
I like not knowing what's going to happen.
It's keeping you on your toes to a certain degree.
It is. Keeps it exciting. Some people will call that stress.
Yeah, well,
So, you know what I mean?
We had that conversation.
Yeah.
We
did.
I don't think it is stress. I'm like, that stress is energy in it.
Yeah,
you can have stressful days. But and again, it might have even been you. Like you're gonna be uncomfortable. That's a lot of the time. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not something that you don't have to pin your whole life on being stressed.
Stress is your body's. I'm like, are you tired when you're stressed? I'm like, no. Like, well, so you're fucking energized then.
Technically, you're stressed when you're excited and you're having fun.
Aye,
That is
you
a
are.
stress, isn't it?
All the time, aye.
Yeah.
You think about like roller coasters and that. Roller coaster, think about it. Who in the fucking right mind would do that?
Yeah.
You could die. Here's a mad story. I didn't go on a roller coaster until I was 40.
Really?
42.
I
I
don't
was
like
42.
them. I don't like
Never
them.
been on one. Convinced I was terrified of them. Because my mum was.
Yeah.
I went on one. I was like, that was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now I love them. In fact, I'm running an event at Alton Towers the end of March.
Yeah.
So you know what
Just so
quarterlies
you
that we
can
do.
go
Aye. So we'll do the event on the Friday in the hotel, and then we're all going to the theme park the next day.
Brilliant.
Taking the kids out of school and everything so they can come. And I was convinced that I hated it. But actually, if you look at it logically, why would you enjoy that?
Mm.
You're fucking upside down. It's not normal, that.
That's true, yeah.
Last year I went on the world's fastest roller coaster. That was horrific. Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, jeez.
You had to wear glasses. Do you know the glasses that you wear when you jump out of a plane?
Yeah.
You had to wear them so your eyeballs didn't come out. Fucking unbelievable.
I don't like them either, but like I've said this in the past, I'll run down a ridgeline on a mountain high up, but then I'm strapped into a thing. Like,
there was one
it's
I
not
went
for me
on.
until I took my kids, and
Really?
I could see him enjoying it. He shit himself, but he was loving it and wanted to go on another roller coaster.
That's why I went on, because my kids were like, Messi had to go on all the rides.
You do, don't
and
you?
I'm just standing there like a fucking big baby, big hairy baby. And I went on one. And Dad, they used to keep, Dad, come on. I was like, oh, no. And then my son just started getting the age where I'm like, he must think I'm a fucking pimp. And then I went on one. It was the Hulk one at Universal Studios, amazing. And then we went on this Jurassic World one. It was brand new. And there was a guy in the queue who had a prosthetic leg. And they said, sir, you're going to have to take that off. And he was like, why? He said, because the roller coaster's velocity so much that it'll come off. Wow. And then here's where I was buzzing. This is the biggest buzz I've ever got. My son sat next to us. He must have been 11 at the time. Dad, will you hold my hand? I was like, fuck, I've been on one roller coaster ever, but of course I'll hold your hand, son. That was the moment that changed everything.
You're giving him advice, literally. My ass is twitching.
But I was like, well,
you sure you want to get on, son? We can get. It's not too late to get off.
Oh, I've tried all that. Man, the queue's it looks a bit big. You sure you don't want to go on a different one?
Of course.
The swans floating over there look good.
You look hungry, son.
Sorry,
class,
mate,
man.
No, it's all right. No, I mean, I was going to say, I think at some point we're going to have to close it off out with there, and I just think it's been an amazing episode, this, mate. So thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy.
I've had an absolute scream.
Yeah, and we have as well, haven't we? It's been great. It's been a different episode.
This has been one of the best podcasts I've done.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Because you didn't just come with loads of boring
questions
that I've been asked a million fucking times.
Exactly. We just let it take a natural flow, didn't we? So yeah, pleasure, mate. Thank you so much. And I think we've done about two. This is our PB, isn't it?
It is a PB.
This is our PB. Yeah, PB. So we're well happy with that.
But I hope everyone else enjoys it as much as we do.
Well, save this one for your long run is what I'm going to say, because this is a good one, isn't it?
Hang on, people run for 2.5 hours. No way.
You won't be
offended
for 2 hours.
Just don't be offended when he cuts it down to 10 minutes.
Oh, that's fine. We got all the reels anyway. I love it.
But no, it's been a pleasure, Paul. Thank you so much. And without further ado, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Charles.
Hey. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, man.
That was class.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Love that.
Sit down for a second. Cheers.
I'm going to have to nip to the toilet, guys. I'm absolutely busting for a week.
Cheers, mate. I'm sure you've got it.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Right, that's everything cut.